Good evening. If anybody's out there in the chat land, let us know if our sound is too low. I think right now we don't have anybody to respond, but might have them a little bit later so that we can know if we need any adjustments before we get started. And we are missing one of our players right now. We're waiting for them to join before I throw us over to our videos. So stick with us on avatars up there on the screen for just a little bit until we find out if we've got our next player. And I will adjust it at that time. Last week, they ended the fight rather quickly by being wise enough to attack Carol, who was the leader of the returning werewolves who were coming back with apparently a kill from a hunt. And they attacked at his command, but the party took Carol down rather quickly, and everyone sort of retired to neutral corners as a woman came out and ordered everyone to stand down, along with the old man who was at this point severely injured. But he stood behind her and assisted in getting the fight to stand down so that people kind of stepped back. Apo, Kyle, are you still leaving the fear up on those 3 werewolves that had it? Are they at this point still feared? Apo?
Hello.
Is the fear still up on the 3 werewolves that?
The fear lasts for a minute, so it's probably expired by now.
Okay. I will take the symbol off of those characters then before we get started, because I didn't know how far back they were hanging. They might be cowering in the back while they snarl once in a while at you. Not happy, but they're probably still snarling, but they're at least not quite so afraid. So I'll move them forward just a bit because they're not hiding in the background. Basically what has occurred in between, as we have kind of lost a few minutes from one week to the next, is people have retired to neutral corners, and you have basically 3 corners going on here. Inside the cave is this group of werewolves, some of whom have now shifted back into humanoid form, and they are standing pretty much, it looks like, in support of this woman that came out and ordered everyone to stop. Meanwhile, one of the women from inside the cave moved over when the first woman commanded, the darker skinned woman commanded the group to stand down. The other woman shifted back into humanoid form and went over and stood with her hands on her hips in front of the returning werewolf group. She has her chin very much stuck out, is looking defiant, and is standing over the body of Carol. She looks like she is probably siding, if there is a side, with the returning werewolves. So they are over outside the cave waiting to see what will happen. But you've got a couple of bodies there. Carol's body and one of the werewolves are dead there, and you have the group inside the cave, and then over to the side you have kind of stepped back to see what happens between these 2 groups and what's going on. So that's where we basically start up tonight, is the 2 sides, if they are sides, are separated, but you don't know exactly what is going on. So what are you guys going to decide to do at this point?
Kill them all unless they obey.
I'm going to heal a Potus.
Well, since there's no more combat, I am out of rage.
Richter's going to kind of wipe the blood off of himself, see what happens.
I'm just going to, sorry.
The 2 women are glaring at each other in a very fierce sort of way. You don't know what is going to go on with that situation.
Is that to me?
Yes, so that's 8 plus 4 is 12 plus your level. So we're level 7, so
Yes.
19.
Sweet. Fotis looked like he was about to lay on hands and was like, okay.
Yeah, don't waste resources, man.
Thank you.
Don't waste your resources. I have my keat. Ah, that's a weird word to say with that accent. Then, in any case, well, this is quite a development. I was expecting there to be a lot more bloodshed before they were forced to stop.
Out the leaders, so any resistance on their part now becomes a question: who leads? So we could potentially be standing in between a civil war in about a half a second.
It's only if there actually is a competition. They were speaking of bringing back whatever. I was having a hard time understanding them.
Okay,
Erasker or whatever his name was.
So Sylvia moves near Opotis and points to the first woman who told people to stand down. She is opposing that one, the woman standing over the body. I think that was his girlfriend / mate / whatever werewolf relationships are.
I think the woman standing with the rest of the pack in the cave.
No, the woman. Are you talking about the woman that came out at the end of the fight?
The woman that came out is Cyril's mate. That's what she's pointing out as an observation. The woman standing in the cave who told everyone to stand down is in opposition of what Cyril had done.
Cyril,
sorry, whatever.
Wait, so you're talking about two different women?
yes,
Yeah.
there's two.
Okay.
Yeah, there is two women.
I missed the first. I missed the other one. I only remembered the one.
Well,
that
we-
had,
If you
we
zoom in
heard
on the
about
map a little bit. There's one on the left in the red, and then there's the one on the right with
Yeah.
like a blue character.
Like we had just heard when the session ended last, we had just heard about the one who told everyone to stand down, who was in opposition of Cyril because she's like, see, this is why we should have stayed with blah blah blah. Then this other woman came out and is now standing over Kiro. I don't want to keep calling him Cyril. Kiro's body, and that's pretty much like, I'm assuming, especially OOC and IC, girlfriend / mate / booty call. Just
I was gonna remark the same thing, but Sylvia beat me to it.
sorry.
So
No, it's all right.
Epotus takes his information and says, "All right then, so we need to purge."
No.
Very straightforward.
No.
It's very straightforward. Okay, I'm sorry. Do you all understand how this works? Actually, do you understand how this is supposed to go down? Because it goes down one way or no way.
What about the way of the enemy of my enemy is my friend?
You are so incredibly naive.
I write good stories, my friend.
Life is not a story.
I
It's
started
certainly
giving
sounding like one.
the POTUS the stink eye right now.
Epotus is
Are we seriously
POTUS
gonna
is
start
not
this
even
shit again?
Epotus is not even looking at you.
I move into a
he's-
position
he's-
to stand in front of him and give him the stink eye.
He's coming down from the high of making like 7 werewolves shit themselves.
Nope. Now I'm standing in front of him and giving him the stink eye. I am making sure that he knows that I am not approving of what he's saying. Reminder, this barbarian here is not the bloodthirsty one. It's the shiny
Paladin.
beacon of light
Yeah.
and holiness.
Yeah, we know.
Actually, DM, could I request that Dirok, since he's right in my face, give me a perception check?
Yes, I'll let you do that so that we can find out exactly what's going on here, since I have no idea.
wait,
either. That's always
Why
good.
did my thing
No.
not show up? So you said you need a perception check?
Sure. Could you give me a perception check?
Sure. Give me just one
You
moment.
suddenly see it punch you in the face. What?
Yeah. And what do I see? I
We're
see
done.
a 6. I see a Dragonborn in front of me.
Yeah, he didn't get a really good roll on that one, so I don't
Well,
know
wait,
what he sees.
would it be perception or would it be insight that I need to do?
It's to notice something.
Oh, something physically on you?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Never mind.
That- Alright, yep, I see a Dragonborn in front of me that's starting to piss me off.
Okay,
As
I'm
usual.
I'm kind of curious on this myself. So, well, no,
No.
I don't know shit.
You see that he has armor on.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
Victor's
I'm-
showing
they're-
okay,
they're
I'm
getting
guys,
seeing
so
what
that's
I'm
all
seeing.
rolls too.
Yeah, they're getting
Yeah,
terrible rolls. They've rolled a 6 and a 5 so far. I'll have
Yeah.
Better
them
doing it
roll.
right now than in combat.
What I'm actually seeing right now is potentially the beginning of possibly a mud wrestling fight between two women. So,
What does my stink eye see?
He has the sight beyond sight.
Yeah, he rolled a 21. I've almost got videos up now that we've got our last player on board, so I can pull these up and start getting us where you can see what's going on. But
Yeah, Victor pulls out Sword of Omens. Give me sight beyond sight.
you mean Shovel of Omens?
There you go.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so Apple, are you letting him know? Yeah, he's letting him
Yep.
know behind
Yeah,
the scenes.
I just pinged him.
Yeah, he's just letting him know behind the scenes what's going on. So Victor would notice something happening there or on him. All right, let me swap this over with what I've got at the moment so that we can at least get our rolls up.
Epotus, are you feeling all right? You look a little off.
I'm feeling fine, Victor. Why?
Do his eyes look a little bit purple?
Do
My
his eyes look a
eyes
little bit
are
purple?
Red. They're not purple.
Victor rubs his
Me-
eyes just to be sure.
Whose eyes?
Me being the guy that doesn't know, I do not understand social courtesies and whatnot. I grab Epotus's face and I look him in the eyes to check his eyes.
I mean, while
Hello.
since I'm sure of both of them, I'm just going to stand there and go, and then suddenly they kiss.
They really
Yeah,
did.
here, I didn't get it with Victor, so it's going to be Epotus. Hold on.
Suddenly, Epotus turns into a frog. He was a frog the whole time. No, around the edges of his eyes, the coloration is starting to change. And this close, you can see that there's a bit of desaturation happening at the edge of his scale.
Duroc sees nothing different.
He just sees. I just see an asshole.
I'm essentially. I should have said that. But yeah, no, I'm still playing with my low roll perception. I don't see anything different.
We can take care of this later. For now, we have a civil war to either start or stop from happening.
Are you going to let me go, Duroc?
Hold on. I'm turning this face now. I'm doing this until he forces me to.
I'm just waiting for him to wrathful smite you.
I'm doing this mainly just to irritate him because I don't care.
And meanwhile, behind you, the two women are now shouting names at each other. And
All right, Sylvia, let's go.
and
Cat fight. What?
the woman on the right, who is with the returning wolves, motions towards the forest, and she says, "Let them starve. We have the food. Let's go." And she shifts back into a wolf form In fact, all of them shift in fully into a large, like a dire wolf form rather than werewolf form. And one of the others grabs the deer that they had brought up with them and is starting to drag it away.
I
Oh,
will
God.
I
use
yell back.
thaumaturgy.
The
I
whole
will use
group starts-
thaumaturgy. Are they actively leaving?
They are starting to like melt away back.
I
They
will
are
use.
Hold
not.
on a second.
They do not have their backs turned. They are like stepping back and pulling the deer with them.
Crap, 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 crap,
Okay, so
crap,
I'm
crap,
still
crap.
in regular talking range, or do I need to
Yes.
use thaumaturgy? Okay.
No, I will consider you. You're, maybe 20, 25 feet apart, but with a raised voice, you can easily talk.
Excuse me. I would like to speak with the both of you.
The woman in wolf form and the darker skinned woman in the cave both turn and look at you. The woman who is in wolf form snarls, and the other one just looks. She doesn't look friendly, but she looks like she is willing to listen to what you are saying.
Friendly-er.
The one in the cave is the one that was talking about Emil. I believe that's the name of the
Correct.
wolf that we heard before.
Yeah.
Yes, her comment as she came out is, "This is what you get for not listening to Emil."
Yep. Okay.
Sorry, that I was going to go stand maybe 4 feet away from the one in the cave to look like I'm not siding with her, but standing in the same area as her to talk. Does the one who shifted back into wolf form coming back over?
No, she stands her ground and continues to snarl.
Keep snarling like that, and you'll join your mate.
Listen, if you want to fight us, I'm sure that my scaly friend over here will be more than happy to oblige.
I let go of POTUS at this point.
However, I would prefer to avoid more bloodshed if we don't have to spill it, and simply use words to solve our problems.
With the DM's okay. Can I make a stealth roll to see if I can get close to the food that's about to get dragged away?
Oh shit!
I thought it was in the mouth.
Well, they were
Already.
starting to drag it. I just want to get
Oh.
closer without being noticed.
She's being so stealthy. She's opening their mouth and putting herself in there.
No, she's opening their mouth and putting her foot in it
One of the-
specifically.
basically what you've got here, except for leadership, you've more or less got females in the cave and males outside. Now, the leader of the males outside is currently a woman, and there is an old man with the females inside the cave. So that's a way we can just define it as the female group or the male group so that we are sure we know who's talking. And one of the male werewolves firmly has the deer latched onto and is pulling it back. He does not stop his movement when the female in lead turns and looks at you. He continues to pull it away towards the woods. So the entire group of males is continuing to slowly edge backwards away from you. Only the female has remained standing there, and after a few moments of her eyes glowing red and her snarling, she finally consents to shift back into a female form and is standing as a woman in front of you again. But she doesn't say anything. She just crosses her arms and looks very defiant.
Well, that's
DM,
good. I was about to start blasting I was about to start blasting them.
can I still make my stealth roll to see if I can get over towards that the meal, the quote unquote the corpse before they get too far?
Yeah, you can see if you can get over to the carcass that they're carrying. That's fine. Let's see. I need.
Sweet Lord, I love being a bard. So the idea is to get over there.
Her attention is focused on Vlad and his comments. She is not paying attention to the rest of you, only to Vlad.
Okay.
the
So
answer
with
is
me
yes.
with me going over there, I'm going to put a foot on one part of the carcass, and I'm going to
The
tap that
carcass
boot.
that's currently in someone's mouth.
Well, they're not the whole thing. They're dragging it.
Yeah, they've got like
Okay.
a four-quarter and they're dragging it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna put my foot down on it and then tap that boot with the silver rapier and say, "You're not going anywhere."
So if it suddenly gets swarmed by like 6 werewolves.
And if I have to, I will roll an intimidation on that.
Let me give him.
I'm just trying to keep them from going anywhere. That's all.
He hesitates, and you see a look of, he is like, for just a moment, he has a thought cross his mind that he just might lunge at you. But at the last moment, he decides not to, and he backs away from you. He drops the deer and just backs away with the others. All right.
All right, back to us.
Yes.
Yep. I mean, I don't think I'm that far from you guys, but yeah.
Well, you'd be 20 feet from them or something, but yeah, you'd be over like here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I've made worse mistakes, but continue then.
So Vlad will look between these two women and say, "Greetings. It is unfortunate that we met under such stressful circumstances. My name is Vladislav Kiltazyara, and I am one of the 2 leaders of the Dawnwatch."
Both of them continue to just watch you. They don't answer or say anything. They wait for you to go on.
Might I know your names?
The darker skinned woman on your left says, "I am Zolika Toronescu." And there is a pause from the other one. She doesn't say anything for a moment, and she glares at the other one for a moment before she says, "You can call me Bianca."
My favorite crossbow. All right. Thank you. Now then, with the death of Kirill, first off, let me say that we did not want to fight. We came here seeking our friends, and he was not here. The fact that Kirill attacked was an unfortunate accident. However, it gave way to a larger problem. As it is looking now, there is a rift between your pack. The ones that you are looking like you speak for, he says, nodding to the darker woman, and the ones that you are speaking for, he says, nodding to Bianca. It's the master of this land has conscripted your pack for his armies. We have all seen how well that has gone. I do not ask you to join with us against him, but merely to stop aiding him. I am direct and to the point. I have no time for fancy wordplay. What say you?
The woman on the right, Bianca, says, "This is exactly the problem. We will not leave off our support of Strahd. You will let us go, and we will go back to Strahd. We will take Kirill to him."
I give you fair warning now. From this moment, we are at parley. You leave, you and your pack can leave without incident. If we meet again, however, we will not hesitate to slaughter you.
And POTUS starts trudging up and stands next to Vlad and just murmurs, "Do you think that's a good idea? We know where they are, right?
We know
now."
where you live.
We are at parley, Hippotas. It is the same things as when we met with other mercenary captains.
This is not Faerun.
Zulika,
Having no honor here makes us no better.
Zulika, the other one, she says, "This is good. Turn your tail and run with it between your legs, Bianca. This is what should have happened before you went crawling to Strahd for assistance. You see what came of it? Emil was right in the first place."
So Vlad will stand there with his arms crossed, wait.
Zuleika says, "Do you wish to come in and explore? You seem to question whether or not we had any of your friends here. We have none of your friends. Are you going to leave?"
Coming in and exploring just to make certain I would like to do. However, I would also like to speak with you still about Emil and about the future of this portion of the pack.
She juts her chin towards Bianca and the other half of the pack and says, "Let them go. Let them go crawling to Strahd. We do not need them. The Night Mother takes care of her children."
How many are leaving? Like, what are the specific numbers? Like, does it seem like it's an even split, or is it like a small portion are leaving to Strahd and a
Pretty
large
much
portion
an
is staying?
even split. You've basically got most of the males are wanting to leave and most of the females are wanting to stay. And the two splits that you see there on the screen are basically exactly what you've got. You've got one wolf pack and 7 werewolves that are wanting to leave. You've got one wolf pack and 7 that are wanting to stay. How many still remain in the cave, you do not know.
I kind of want to say
So
something.
it looks like it's possible then if there's more in the cave that a slightly larger number are staying.
There is the potential of that if there are more
Potential
inside,
for
yes.
it. Yeah.
Alright, so I'm assuming at this fight that Bianca is leaving.
Bianca is again stepping back and moving towards, and she waves her hand with dismissal at Sylvia. "Leave off our food. We will take it with us. The others can hunt their own. We did the work.
Oh.
They did the work to hunt this. It is theirs."
A word
You
with
know-
you.
I'm just gonna look at the one. I guess me then you. She's just gonna look at the one who's saying that to her. And she's like, I hear there's usually a prize for taking down someone like a leader. Think I'm claiming mine. I'm still just tapping the boot with the silver rapier, and just eyeballing the person talking to her.
It's the woman that's
I'm-
talking to her.
I did
Yeah.
call out for her as well
Yes.
to try to get her attention.
Yeah, she's talking with Sylvia, but go ahead and talk over it. Just speak up.
You said that you'd go back to the devil?
He is the Lord of the land. He is the legal and correct Lord of this land. There is no other.
He has commanded your leader to either allow us to go to his house or to kill us. And he has done neither. He lies here dead. You go back to his house with no heads for him to see, going back in failure. You think that will look favorable upon you?
No, it will look disfavorable upon Kiro. This I know. But he will know who.
Oh, yeah,
killed him.
he's already dead. Do you think he cares about that? He cares about those who are still alive. Do you think he's going to allow you to still live? And show
Yeah.
knowing that you failed him?
She points at Zolika and she says, "And what do you think he will think of them?" And she now turns her back and walks away into the group of others. She just turns her back on them.
Let them
I grab
go.
a javelin.
Let them go, Dirok.
There's no
I'm
convincing.
grabbing the javelin.
Dirok, we're at parley.
They go back to the devil, they will go back in pieces.
Drop.
Not
You
the
doing
time.
a thing?
Yeah, he's commanded you to drop. So you have to do a wisdom save versus what?
Wisdom save.
Just
Yeah.
wisdom save versus 14.
14. That's what I
14?
needed. That's what I needed.
Where's wisdom save? Right here.
Well, clearly this was meant to happen.
I grip.
I do not argue with this.
I hope you're using up all your good rolls right there.
You know what?
I'm not allowed to argue with this. That was 2 natural 20s in a row.
Derox had it. He
I vouch
turns
for
to
the dice.
Apotus. He turns to Apotus, and he throws the javelin.
Whoa!
Oh,
Oh, boy.
Now we
let
have
it begin!
4 groups.
Ba-ba-da-ba.
All right,
Fight music.
everybody choose your sides here.
Okay, beat a 19.
My bet is
Let's see.
on. My bet is honestly on Apotus.
I'm sorry, what was that?
That's gonna be a 6. Alright. Okay.
So Otis takes the 6 damage. Yep.
So yeah, I throw the javelin
yeah.
and I tell him, "There, I dropped it."
Ouch!
Drop it horizontally.
I'm starting to get a little bit angry.
Getting ready to interfere if he has to.
Epotus looks down at the javelin. Then looks back
Sticking out of his
Iraq.
chest.
I need to make like a check.
Would mic drop in here?
And then he lays on hands himself for the 6 points.
He's not taking the bait there, Dirog.
It doesn't matter if we were gonna fight or not. Like I said, Derox had it with him.
And then he just walks right up to Dirok and
Oh,
he
boy.
stares at him and he just says, "When we are not surrounded by hostiles, we're doing this."
It's been a long time coming, coward.
Oh,
And I turn my back to him.
Sunday.
Sunday.
I love the fight music that just showed up.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep,
I know.
I love it too.
The dramatic,
Great timing.
the dramatic.
It's the perfect kind too. It has to be super dramatic for us.
Yeah, let's keep that when we do the actual fight. Let's do that.
The title,
And Epotus
the title of the
turns.
song is Devastation and Revenge.
Seems about right.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Epotus doesn't turn his back because he's not going to give him an opening.
Oh no, I already
And,
turned my back to you. I don't give you the respect of, any more confrontation.
Epotus backs his way and stands next to Vlad and just says, "Only one of us is leaving Barovia, and it's not going to be him."
I've seen this coming for some time.
And
We have to deal with the
intro. There was our cold open.
Yep.
Oh boy.
For now, though, we have to deal with the remaining pack. So what did Bianca do with the Sylvia and the corpse?
They have started to back away from it because they're not going anywhere near the sword. But during the confrontation, I want each of you, would it be insight or would it be perception? I'm going to say insight in this case. Each of you besides Sylvia and let's see, I don't want Sylvia, Dirok, or Epotus to roll. So I want
Oh.
Victor, Vlad, and Alexander to roll insight.
Well, how do I roll a 1 and still get an 8?
Because you got a
Bonus?
lot of pluses on that. Only Victor notices that the group, what I call the male group, took advantage of the argument between Duroc and Apotus, and they have moved considerably further back. They are like 20 feet further back from you than they were when the discussion started. Vlad and Jason both had eyes on the argument. Victor and Sylvia were aware enough to realize that they were moving back. Do either of them, Sylvia or Victor, say or do anything as you notice them moving?
Yeah, Victor says like really loudly, like, "Hey, I see what you're doing there."
Running away?
After he yells, I turn to see what it is that is going on.
Victor doesn't really care personally, but he's not going to let him sneak off. Well, I guess he does care, but not as much.
You've had
Bugs
yours.
is waiting for someone to do something that will end the parlay, that will let him go in and rip or cut up some faces, because honestly, they're goddamn werewolves. Why are we suffering these fools?
Because I'd rather make friends with potential people who would go against Strahd, and we've got like half a pack that's probably willing, and then half a pack that's like, I'm gonna kill you because.
Okay, so, and then we have a werewolf problem after we take care of our vampire problem. Also, old Alex totally would agree with you. This one, not so much. He wants some goddamn action.
Well, yeah, but no. See, we didn't come to Barovia to start murdering a whole bunch of people. So
These aren't people, they're werewolves.
They're still
That's
people.
racist.
Okay,
They're
I'm
still
racist.
people.
They're half people.
They're still people.
They're half people. They're people who are overcome with a disease which leaves them with horrible bestial desires, which, end up, murdering large number of people. Werewolves are not known to be good neighbors. In fact, they're pretty famous for literally turning into beasts and murdering people. So much so that that's their entire mythos.
Not always.
Okay,
But I'm not arguing semantics. I'm just saying.
Regardless, Alex is waiting for
besides,
this.
okay,
That's
let
why
me-
he's keeping his mouth quiet.
Let me paint it to you like this. Would you rather have a bunch of normal people running into Strahd's territory and fighting him and then getting killed, or would you rather Strahd end up killing off the werewolves because they decided to turn on him? Which would be the better cannon fodder?
Old Alex would agree with you. This one wants some action.
Then go to a brothel.
Some kind of action. Although, I guess we pay enough.
Alex, I wouldn't trust any of the brothels here.
I mean, there were those Vistani in the beginning of the campaign.
Oh yeah, they were smiling at Alex very thoroughly.
Yeah, Alex made fun of your friends.
Alex, consider this professional advice from your mentor.
I'm not
Anyways,
looking to get lucky.
all of that,
I'm
like, I do
drunk
with
for
OC.
once in my life. I'm looking
All
to
my thing with
smite
OC,
the
so.
evil.
Who's been letting him sip the
Zuliko
weird juice?
says again, let them go. They can crawl back to him if they want. They have no real place to go and no home now. They must stay with him.
They will die when we cross paths again.
Then they die.
If they're not dead already because of the devil killing them, they're fools into believing that he will just allow them back.
I don't.
Zuleika turns when Vlad makes his comment. She doesn't look at him. She looks out of the corner of her eye at him, like she's studying him, and she gives a kind of a non-expression, a flat-faced look at Vlad.
No, then. I wish to have words with you. You said that you would rather follow Emil. Can you say the same for everyone in this cave?
Yes, they stood behind me before. It was only the males who wished to destroy and fight.
Where is Emil?
He is.
Never mind. We already asked Carol this. He is in Strahd's dungeon.
She nods. Yes. Kirill.
What is
solved
your
that.
what is your normal relationship with the people of Barovia? Do you hunt them, or do you just live it? What are your Night Mother's teachings? What are you expected to do?
We must eat. If we can get deer, and she points at the deer under Sylvia's foot, then we do. But I will not deny there have been times we have hunted. And she crosses her arms and lifts her chin like she's defying you.
How far away is Valaki from here?
Ooh, the lucky
Probably a
is
couple hours.
well, it is probably a couple of hours because of terrain. As the crow flies, it is probably 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 miles.
Okay, so it's fairly close.
Maybe as many as 8, but you can't get there directly. You've got to go around to get to it.
Okay, but within theoretical hunting range of this place.
Yes.
Okay.
As is Kresk, you are even closer to
Yeah.
Kresk.
But it is not a requirement that you hunt, say, people.
No, it is not a requirement. There are those that we train sometimes. I will say that we increase our number from among those. Some of these here, and she tosses her head back towards the ones behind her, they were once village people.
And did they go willingly, or did you force them?
Sometimes they have disagreements at first, but not for long.
I would like
Aren't
to
you
learn
Sylvia?
more of this Night Mother.
You can come
I
to
have
her
never-
shrine if you wish. We have a
I have never
shrine
heard
to
of her.
We have a shrine within to her if you wish.
Am I permitted to enter?
Enter. You may come into the cave.
My true revenge.
Oh no.
Just turn into a werewolf to fight Dira.
Turn into a werewolf and Dirok doesn't get to.
Oh, you mother! Oh,
Oh no.
I will kill you for that.
Ah, sweet Jesus.
That is the greatest revenge to have on any barbarian.
I will kill you.
I kind of want Kyrus here right now, just so I can have a Minotaur barbarian.
Would anyone else care to join me?
Yes, let us walk and talk.
Very well. I would like to see this shrine then and hear more about your beliefs.
She takes you inside the cave to the place where you initially saw the. You're floating up at the ceiling there. She takes you inside to the area where the raised dais, and she says, "Most of us have our cooking fires there," and she points to the left, "and our water is drawn from there," and she points to the right. She says, "In the back, further back in the cave, we have our shrine," and she walks to the left, and you can see there is a campfire in a large area. Another raised portion is to the back of that cave section, with stairs, with carved stairs going up the raised portion. And it goes back through large columns of earth and stalactites and stalagmites through what is more like a 50-foot wide section with a large column in the middle of it, leaving about 15-foot sections on either side of the column, and she leads you around one of the columns and back through kind of a maze of columns through, and eventually she slides to the right and she climbs some broad stairs to yet a third height up. As she does, you can look up to the north in the cave, and you see more of this kind of labyrinthal columns and openings and living quarters. You can see beds and things made, and a couple of smaller fires back there, and one long corridor with a number of stairs that heads off to the north, distinctly different from the rest of the cave. But she leads you up these broad stairs past another large column up into a large cave section that is, let's see, 30, 60, it's about 100 feet wide by 120 feet long, a very large cave in the back, much larger than the opening where you came in, several times the size of that. And she leads you in there, and in the corner, in the northeast corner of this cave, there is a carving of a woman with a wolf's head. It is a rather crude wooden statue that has been carved, and all around the base. Now, do the others follow Apotus? Is only Apotus seeing this?
Vlad did.
I would probably follow after I get someone to help me cut this corpse in half, toss one half of it into the woods, and then bring the other half, like the bigger half, inside the cave.
I would probably help her with that to make sure that the group that's inside the cave are going to be fed.
Okay.
So I would follow her with that.
During that time, then, while you are cutting up, the others have slunk out of sight into the trees, but you get the feeling they are keeping an eye on you from the tree line. So probably they will retrieve the half of the deer that you are tossing to them, and the others come and help you drag the carcass back into the.
Can I do a perception to see if I notice that?
Yes.
Perception.
Oh yeah.
And what did I get? 22?
Yeah, you definitely noticed it, and in fact with that roll you can see some yellow eyes gleaming through the darkness under the trees and brush, and you are pretty sure that they are watching you.
I go to throw that upper half. I see them, and I think better of it. I'm going to drag it along with me.
So you're dragging it into the cave or dragging it towards the trees?
Into the cave. I guess I'll just drag both halves. I mean, that was the point, was we were going to throw the other half out there, but no, I see those wolves out there. No. I don't need to help them. They can get their own food again.
At that point, the eyes disappear and you don't see them again. The werewolves inside the cave come out and help you drag it, and they seem to have a great deal of strength. Even though they are females, they are in their hybrid form. They are very easily able to drag whatever portion of the carcass they handle. They actually seem to almost exceed Dirok in strength. All right, so Vlad and Apotus are the only ones then. Where's Alex?
I think Sylvia was following afterwards. Shortly.
Yeah.
Alex headed straight on in. I'm just keeping quiet.
Victor? Riz? Victor?
Oh, sorry, one sec here.
This is a side note. When I entered the cave, like non-threateningly, I put the sword back into the sheath, belt loop, or whatever, to show that she has no intent of like actually trying to use it on them, and that that this is coming out of what's the word? Act of good faith.
Okay.
Yeah, Victor's kind of staying on guard. He's kind of undecided at the moment.
So you're at the mouth of the cave. Literally, in this case, the mouth.
Let's see. So let's see. POTUS is going in, right? What about Dirac?
I'd be following
They're all going
in
in.
right after Sylvia because I was helping her with the carcass.
Yeah, I'll go in with them.
And once the werewolves in the cave came out to help, Duroc wouldn't necessarily be needed to haul the carcass because they seem quite capable of handling it. Okay, so is there anyone who actually remains at the mouth of the cave? Okay, so you are all inside, eventually trooping into this raised portion in the back. It is raised by the time you have gotten up to that level, you are probably a good 20 to 30 feet higher than you were at the mouth of the cave. It has gone raised up quite a bit, and the corridor portion that goes off to the north, you can tell goes up quite a bit higher. You can see several flights of stairs carved out of the rock going back up and disappearing around a curve out of sight, but you can tell that it goes up quite high, probably up to something that would be above your heads somewhere. But you are on this raised portion at the back, and you have noticed this crudely carved wooden statue of a woman. She has her arms out in an almost loving gesture, and she has a wolf's head, and the wood carving is not well done. It's obviously been carved by a non-artisan, somebody just carving something. However, what you would probably notice, I'm going to have you each give me a perception roll, because I want to just see how quickly, you all will notice it, but I want to see who notices it first. Everyone give me a perception roll here. Duroc.
You know, this is just such a nice cave.
Jesus
Hey,
Christ!
Did better than the last time.
All right.
I can't roll anything
Surprisingly,
tonight.
Wow!
it's
Across the board.
Rolled a 2.
Let's talk.
We're so trusting.
Yeah, I've kind of got my eyes on Victor. On POTUS and Dirac.
Ippotus is so curious about the Night Mother that he has eyes only for the statue itself. The rest of you are following a bit behind, and you are just curious what's going on. You don't know exactly what's going on. However, surprisingly, it is Duroc this time that has the most awareness. You rolled an 11. I looked at the wrong perception. That was up at the other one. So even he doesn't. You are all just paying attention to the stalactites, the stalagmites, and all of the things on as you were going, and you're climbing the stairs. You see this statue, and you see some kind of stuff that is in this, but you aren't really paying attention. Ippotus then, in the lead, would come up to the statue, and it would take him a moment to look down and realize there are piles of gold, chests, and jewels around the foot of this statue. It is literally probably shin high in coins, chests, and valuable items. He would stand for a moment a little in shock as he realizes this, and only then would he look up and around, and he would see that there are 4 cages. They are in kind of dark recesses of this cave section, and staring out with terrified looks out of the 4 cages are 8 children of varying ages.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Behind him, he also sees a 5th cage with only 1 boy in it. The boy is not looking out with terror, In fact, the cage door is standing slightly ajar, and he is holding an odd wooden doll, and he is just staring at you intently with the oddest expression.
I don't mean to be rude. You're being a very gracious host, but what's going on here?
These are the
I'm further back. I don't notice this yet.
right.
Vlad, Sylvia, could you block the door, please?
Yes,
She's like-
we don't want me
Yeah,
to
could you,
fly off the handle right away.
Could you? Yeah, we need like a minute.
They start pointing out some of the sparkly effects in the limestone stalactites and everything, trying to distract him a bit. So that he's kind
I'm
of.
I'm terrible at distracting Duroc, so I'm going to put my hand back on the hilt of the blade and look at them and look at the cages and go, please do explain before he finds out, because he will kill you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say like in the next 5 seconds, I need like to know exactly what's going on because otherwise, the giant green fellow who I was just having a standoff with, yeah, we said that was gonna happen later. That may happen like right now. So I need you to tell me what's going on like now.
Come on, hurry up.
Oh wow! Look at this cave.
Yeah.
Look at this excellent craftsmanship.
Yes.
Hmm?
Look at these pillars. Do you think werewolves could have crafted these?
You saved yourself 30 seconds, by the way.
Zuleska again crosses her arms across her chest, and she tips her head and she says, "These are the candidates. This one here, this is Kellen. He has already passed."
Candidate for what?
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh boy.
Why do I have this feeling to grab my spear right now? It's really strange, but yeah, that's great
Don't,
craftsmanship.
Duroc, how many times have we told you not to do that in public?
At this point, a sword speaks up and goes, "Yeah." I can hear some of the things he'd say, but anyway, we won't go there.
Won't we?
That Zuleska says, "Partly I wanted you to see this. These children have no homes. We have offered them membership in the pack, and this is what the argument was over.
Now-
Kirill would have them fight to the death, and only one would survive. Kellen survived his fight several months ago. He is now a member of the pack. When we heard you outside, we placed him here for his own safety. I will be frank. He remained in his human form because if all else failed, you would have taken him back and he would have reestablished the pact for us. However, these other children have been kept separate because Kirill would have them fight to the death as well. He puts them in pairs, and only a few survive the test. Emil says that all should join the pack if they wish. None should be forced to fight like this."
So, okay, so the rumors, and I'm saying the rumors, about you kidnapping them from villages, that's not true. Well, your group, this group here, is not part of that?
I will admit that members of the pack have at times kidnapped children and converted them unwillingly. But I have been trying to take only those who have no homes. They are the ones who will make the best pack members.
Because they found family. No, that totally makes a lot of sense. Okay.
That was interesting. I look at the kids.
Duroc,
Duroc, not what you think.
hold, Duroc.
I'm grabbing my spear.
Duroc,
Duroc, that cages
give him a chance.
The cages are for protection from us because we were a threat coming in. They didn't have anywhere else safe to put them, so they just went, maybe this will buy them some time. Maybe they'll think they're prisoners.
If this was anyone else, I would probably believe them. I want to insight check Alex to see if he's telling the truth.
He's a changeling.
Yes, this is exactly why I want to flip an insight check.
Dirok will give an insight check. And Alex
Is my persuasion?
A persuasion roll, yes, to see if Dirok believes you.
I like the. Oh yeah, that's definitely. Oh
And I will
Fucking-
give you.
I rolled a 4.
But I will. It doesn't help. But I was also going to give you advantage because you are telling the truth. But unfortunately,
7 against is +0, and I still. You know what? No, this is good. This works in my favor. I wanted a bloodbath.
This is a bloodbath with the wrong people, though.
yeah, it is.
Dirok,
Alex, do you think I am that stupid to believe anything you say?
Okay.
At this point, I think
I'll
I
let-
should give up talking.
I'll
Hi,
let
I
I'll
wanna
let
do
Sylvia
something.
take this one.
Hi. Okay, so I want to quickly insight the woman who explained this to make sure she's telling the truth, and then I want to persuade Durak not to do something dumber than me.
very good. Go ahead and insight.
Victor, who
So-
still has Dirok charmed, says, "Hold on, Dirok. Let's give them 1 minute to try and straighten this out."
I
Charmed
forgot
from
about
when?
that.
Okay, so I'm doing insight.
Within-
I know I was
24
charmed.
hours.
I know it was charmed. I
It
just
lasts
don't remember
for
where.
24 hours.
Oh,
It was
right,
at
the tower.
Yeah, it was
The
at
tower.
the tower. Yeah, it was just a couple. I was like, not even a couple hours ago.
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
what did you say?
I said, let's give them a minute to straighten this out.
I was pulling out my spear. I put it back. You know what? That sounds like a great idea.
I'm just gonna go. Oh, thank God, Victor. All right, so inciting the werewolf.
I'll
Oh,
be
God, no.
darned. For
Why do
once-
we
What is
For
wrong
once
with
my-
us?
Could
for
I
once
could
my
I incite the
lousy
werewolf
roll
too?
actually beat something. I can't
Yeah, I
believe
know.
it.
Could I incite the werewolf too, or did she do okay?
No, I got a
She
4.
rolled a
Fuck that
4.
shit.
Would I be able to as well?
You can insight as well.
I wasn't around for the explanation.
God.
To both
Ah.
to both of you, you feel like she's telling the truth. Epotus is possibly a little more convinced than Sylvia is. However, both of you are pretty sure that she believes what she's saying. And she has admitted, obviously, that there have been instances in which children were taken unwillingly. But she is claiming that these children are not those children.
Okay, so persuasion, because like I really needed assistance on that one.
So who are you trying to persuade?
I'm
Durak.
gonna double persuade Durak and just be like, she explained the ones who left seems like they may be the ones who did the wrongdoing on this. These kids are orphans and needed a home. This is what they offered. They're here by their choice.
Zuleika steps forward to your discussion and she says, I will grant you this. You may speak with the children, and if they wish to leave, they may do so. They have not yet been brought into the pack. Kellen, however, is a pack member. He will remain, and he will wish to do so. The others you may speak with.
I turned to Sylvia. So what you're saying is I should go and kill the ones that are outside the cave.
They might have already left, but if you
Here-
catch them, we
Durak's
can
a
kill
good
them.
hunter.
Dirok, here's what we need to do. Okay, you and I don't.
We
yeah,
need to still have our one-on-one still. I don't think we have any other words.
Until that point, we have to play babysitter because any of these children, we need to take them straight home if they wish to go.
I'll let Sylvia and Vlad do the talking. I understand that I am not the best looking to
So
hopefully
here's
gain
what
trust.
here's what I need your help in then. if there are any children that are coming out with us, I need you to keep an eye out on them. Can you do that?
Duroc can do that with his life.
I knew you would.
Just prolonging the inevitable. You're saving your skin.
Is that what he says?
No, I would be doing that in Duroc voice.
That kind of sounded like their own voice.
This is
Oh my god, I probably won't ever like
this is
time.
Duroc voice, slow and stupid. I know you can't really tell the difference between the player and the character.
In any case,
Oh.
Vlad turns to the children. All right. So, which ones of you wish to leave here?
It may
Which
help.
ones of you wish to stay?
It
You will
may
not
help.
be forced.
You are terrible with kids, aren't you?
I never claimed to be good with them.
I look to Sylvia. It may be helpful to earn a little trust if we are allowed to open their cages, so that they don't think that we're just going to take them with the cage.
I turn to what's her face. Let me
Zulika.
pull my notes up. Zulika. I turn to Zulika and say, about that, the cages, if they're not being forced to fight each other anymore, I don't see why the cages are still necessary. If they wish to join your pack, you can let them walk about on their own, no?
I agree. And she takes a key. There's a necklace around her neck, and she pulls a key out of her tunic. And she goes over and she unlocks all 4 doors. The children rather hesitantly come out, and they are looking, some of them are looking a bit traumatized. Some of them are looking at Zulika and back at you and back at Zulika again, like they're kind of thinking things over. They range in age from about 12 to about 6. There are
Okay.
8 of them besides Kellen.
I'm gonna need a campfire real quick. Just eyeballing around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a fire in this section of the cave, keeping it warm.
Alright, so doing what I do best, I'm going to use the cantrip Minor Illusion to make like little fire fairies type things pop out of the campfire, and then start pretty much trying to put them in a better mood with entertainment.
The older ones, one girl and 3 boys are over 10 or Kellen's age. They're a bit older. They kind of cross their arms and look at it like, that's just illusion stuff. The small ones, the young ones, all run with giggles to the fire to watch it. And it does seem to have an effect. It seems to lighten the mood of those who seem most terrified.
They all run
I
over
will
to
happily
the fire.
I will happily also roll a performance check too, so. And blah. Oh yeah.
Even the older ones
So.
with that roll kind of look like, the kind of look that they give you is the, oh gee, I'd believe in Santa Claus if I couldn't, but I'm too old to believe kind of look. They are interested in the fire fairies, but they are too old and sophisticated to show that they really are interested in the fire fairies.
So it's kind of like one of those like kids where there's the shiny, they want to get closer and look, but they're trying to be like, no, I'm too big, I'm too old for this shit.
I'm too
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm too cool for school. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. You know, the kind of age when a girl stops playing with dolls, or in my case, toy soldiers.
yeah.
But still sets them up in on the shelf, and maybe puts them in different positions, but she doesn't actually play with the doll or play with the toys anymore because she's too old to play with it. But she
They're now
still
collection.
kind of has them there. Yeah.
They're not dolls, they're action figures, Mom.
Right.
Anyways,
Exactly.
yeah. So she's gonna do this for about a couple of minutes, and then sit there with the little fire fae just kind of like dancing about, keeping the kids mildly entertained, and then she's just going to spend time talking with them, like learning names, finding out how old they are, just making cheerful-ish conversation to find out like where they came from, what do they remember, things of that nature. Just trying to get a feel if they feel like they're being here against their will or not.
The littlest girls snuggle up to you right away. They seem to be in search of a mother, wherever that mother might be found, but they seem kind of relieved not to have to. They seem relieved to have you as an alternative. They don't look like they are necessarily terrified of being in the werewolf cave, but the littlest ones look just a little bit uncomfortable, and they kind of give the way they snuggle up next to you and kind of want to use you as a shield. You get the feeling that they would probably be the most willing to leave. The older ones, they hang back, and you don't get the same kind of image from them.
I'm not sure what to. Celia, I'm not sure what to do. What did I call? What did I call?
So it looks like the younger kids would want to come, but the older kids actually look like they're kind of okay with it.
Yeah, the older ones look like they possibly would be. I'm looking at something here, so I have to. Yeah, they weren't given specific names. I needed to check to see if they were given specific names, but only Kellen was.
See, that's
given.
1, 2, and 3, and then the kids are 4, 5, and 6, and 7.
Yeah, pretty much. They didn't specify what their names were. So.
Sylvia, ask them if. I mean, do we know if they're orphans or not, or if they actually have?
Well, I mean, that's part of what I was having the conversation with them about. Like, what do they remember? Do they remember anything about home before this? Things, things of the like. So, what does your mom and dad look like? Kind of like innocent questions, the ones that the kids will easily answer because they're dumb.
Yeah, and the kinds of answers you get range across the board. One of the littlest girls, she says, "I want to go home," but when you ask her where home is, she doesn't remember the name of the village, and she seems like she doesn't really remember who her parents were. You also get some of the middle range in age children, a couple of them who say with sad eyes, "I am from Barovia village." And one of them says, My mother sold me for a dream pie. I don't know where she is."
Shit.
That's actually a concerning question.
Epotus is actually starting to think maybe these kids are safer here.
Yeah, no, I'm getting okay.
I'm gonna actually ask that kid, how did you get here? We know that the ones that were selling dream pies were not these people.
When they dragged me into their funny house with the big wings on it, I managed to break free, and I ran and I ran and I ran, and they had others, and so they did not chase me.
Hey, you know what? That's actually really brave of you. You know what? We actually met those bad people, and guess what? They will never hurt you again.
I am glad. They were very frightening. I didn't like those ladies.
No,
We didn't like them either.
No, they didn't like us either, too. Too bad they're not going to have to worry about that anymore.
And she just kind of snuggles closer and says, "It is warmer here. It is better, and they don't sell me for dream pies."
Well, I don't think these people will sell you either, and I definitely know they want to take care of you. It's a little different, but sometimes homes can be in unique places.
I just don't know, because they said I have to let them bite me. I don't know if I want that.
Well, I'm gonna use the minor illusion to turn one of the fire fairies into like a wolf, and have it like prance around and like jump around the kids just playfully like.
Frolic around them.
Yeah. And it's like, well, they have a special kind of magic
Puppy bouncing.
turns you into something like that. But it's going to be your choice. If you want to do that, you can do that. But they said if that you don't want to do that, then we can try to take you someplace where you're not going to get sold for pies anymore. Would you like that?
Will I find another mother? Will you be my mother?
Maybe not your mother, but someone else will love you very much that would love to be your mother. And I'm pretty sure they would love to be your mothers too. It's going to be your choice. I know it's a big choice. Trust me, it's like, oh my god, my brain's exploding. I get to be this really cool wolf, or I get to go find someplace new.
I don't know. I will have to think about it, whether I want to let them bite me or not, or I want to go with you. Can I wait a little to tell you what I want to do?
Kind of looks at the group, trying to get an idea of like time frame.
We could use a rest. If we're safe here, we could take it here and give them till whatever passes for morning.
Zulika says,
If we don't impose upon you.
there will be one condition.
Which is?
I want you to rescue Emil.
I've got zero problems with that.
If you
I don't have any problem with that either. I actually wanted to talk to you about that, because the parlay we've had here and the peace we've come to, it seems predicated on the fact that you get him back, correct?
Yes. I can rule for a while, but we need a strong hand to survive.
But if Strahd ends up, because of those guys leaving,
If you go to Ravenloft and you find him wherever Strahd has put him, if he still lives this side of the veil and has not gone to the arms of the Night Mother, then I wish you to set him free and return him to us.
yeah, I'm down with that.
I'm not looking to certify it. I don't need to.
In that case, if you will agree to that, to try your best when you go there. If he still lives, set him free, and I will promise you safe sleep here tonight. None will harm you.
Not to, of course, if we are able to rescue Emil, then we will, but breaking a werewolf out of the dungeons of Ravenloft is not going to be an easy task.
Going to Ravenloft in general is not going to be an easy task, but I'm of a mindset to clean house.
As am I.
I'm aware that it will be a difficult task. I ask you only a promise to do your best to try. And if you find him, to try and release him. I do not even think, I doubt, how do I even think he still lives after what happened? But if he is alive and you go there, promise me that you will try to set him free and you may sleep safe here tonight.
Epotus goes up to her, takes off his gauntlet, and holds his hand out to her and says, "For what I've seen today, if it is within my power to bring him back, to release him so that he can come back, I will do so."
Very well. And she clasps your hand. As a matter of fact, she reaches up and clasps it all the way to the elbow, like a double,
Goosh!
Power arm wrestle. What?
Alright, so I suppose we're taking a long rest here?
Yep, I guess you are.
Yep.
And
Yep.
They feed you some meat which does not seem to be, it tastes pretty much like wild game. The deer they are dressing and preparing down in the lower cave area that you came through before. Stannis is being I said Stannis, it's
Stanos Baratheon.
Stennis. Stannis was the Vistani bard that you met back at Daggerford. So I get these two mixed up. This is Skennis, not Stannis. But Skennis is being tended to by the women. They are putting poultices on his wounds and this kind of thing where he got injured during the fight. And they are also taking care of the two guards who were badly injured as well. So they are the healthy women are working to take care of that. And one of the women comes in and reaches out her arms to Kellen, who runs and like half happily jumps into her arms, and he drops the wooden doll that he was holding on the floor and then goes skipping out like he's kind of forgotten the doll and leaves it laying there on the ground about halfway between your group and the cage that he was hiding in. And he bounces out with the other woman. So basically everybody's getting patched up, and Kellen has gone off with one of the women.
Sylvia, you spoke with the kids. Does it seem like they will be wanting to stay here?
It's kind of a mixed bunch. They want a home. They want a home that they're not going to have to worry about being taken away from. Some of them are really nervous about being bitten, but they're not completely against it. It's a coin toss. They want to think about it.
If it is just a home they are looking for, we have a house in Velaki that we're not even using. I'm sure that Father Petrovich will be more than happy to at least check in with these children.
We have something slightly better than that. What about was it Kresk?
What about Kresk?
An entire village of people who lost their kids. And kids looking for homes.
Not a bad idea, but I don't want them to be anywhere near the abbot.
Why not?
If we return to Kresk, we take care of the abbot. Then we won't have to worry about him.
No. The best idea I would have is taking them to Kresk to give them to families that would want them there.
You also have the opportunity to take them to Velaki and Arena, but that's the only other.
I mean, they go to Velaki, they at best get to an orphanage, they may get adopted, they may not.
They may also be inducted to the church or whatever, like with what the two kids that we had before.
That's what I was thinking.
At least with Kresk, that they would have a loving childhood. Not saying anything about the two kids or whatnot. You know, maybe that's something that they would prefer. But maybe not all the kids would like that. Whereas all the kids would probably like a loving family.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't seem the abbot does anything in the village per se. Like, he goes and visits, but it doesn't sound like he did anything. And they're outside of attempt to resurrect loved ones who are dead, which he then failed at. So, I mean...
But that also brings up the question of what did how did these kids die? Because they contracted something. What if these kids contract that same thing?
That's also a thought. I didn't have that one before. Thank you. I mean...
Well, we did also offer the village of Kresk to come to Velaki, because there's not a whole lot of them left there to begin with. I do remember us talking about that.
That's true. The guy from Kresk could easily take over as Burgermeister in Velaki.
Yeah, we did think about having him to be like the head that wasn't Epotus and Vlad, because technically you guys are now the leaders of Loki. We did say that, this is a burgermeister we could trust. He could probably run the day-to-day things while we're not there.
Or at least make sure that the one that's supposed to be leading gets the proper instruction instead of like
I don't think we trust him enough.
Okay? Well, also I'm also going with the fact that I had that one-on-one interaction with him, and that dude is like broken. Like he is completely broken. As a person.
I get the feeling that we give him an inch, he'll take a mile. I don't think we should trust him, even with what you spoke with him about.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm throwing ideas out here, and these are the only ones I can think of.
So yeah, POTUS, do you agree? You did miss it. We said something about bringing the kids to Kresk, but then thought about the children dying there. Maybe these children will die there, which then thought about maybe bring all the people from Kresk there, because we did say about wanting to bring the Burgomeister there to be the head while we're not around, because we kind of trust him enough more than the actual Burgomeister of Alaki.
Yeah. Well, so basically take Kresk and the kids that are going to come from here and just merge them into Valaki. Yeah, like that seems to be like the main thing, because I do not want anybody around that freaking Abbott until we can take him out.
That's the same thing that,
Yeah,
that's what we're just thinking.
And I don't think we can take out the Abbott until we take out Strahd. Until we're ready to take out Strahd, at least.
Yeah, because the Abbott is definitely a little too strong.
I have a comment. Why are we so insistent on killing the Abbot?
Because he lied about the Monarch.
Because he's been corrupted.
Yep.
He is a celestial divine entity that has failed his job and deserves to be crushed for it.
I mean, that is going to be the one thing that POTUS and Durak will agree on. But no, I think that's
the only thing we've ever agreed on.
Well, no, we probably also agreed that Strahd needs to die.
Fair point.
And
two things.
We'll find a third.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah.
You don't have to kill each other.
But
action high five.
No, it was when we met Esmeralda at the tower that she witnessed the Abbot handing over Monarch while Monarch was unconscious to Strahd's minion. And the Abbot did not say anything. The Abbot said that Monarch went of his own free will.
Yes, I was there for that scene.
Okay.
I'm hard to disagree. Oh yeah, no, it's entirely possible. I might not have been. I get pulled aside a lot. One of the many reasons I'm not on video. I hard disagree. I'm not going to try and convince the party otherwise, because they're never going to listen to my character.
We listen.
In character,
I don't agree with it.
They never listen. They listen to hear the joke out of it. It's totally fine.
Hey, there was one time I think I actually agreed with.
No, hold up. I'm making a joke. Moving on. What I was going to say was that, like, as far as I understand, he wants peace in the land, and he sees the way to do it is this way he's trying to do it. Now, it's incorrect, and it's not going to work, and he's not so much corrupt as he is just blindly naive, and that once our villainous evil overlord is murdered the hell out of him, then he becomes a neutral, vaguely positive force in the land.
Here's the problem, though. Did you see what he did to that entire abbey as it is? He says
he's the one that did that.
He's the one who did that. All of those people, all of those weird mutations, all of the insanity on that's all him.
Because actually, they're, as I understand it, they are just basically suffering from a generational curse from people who don't know how to make a fucking wish. Excuse my curse.
Who made a wish to him.
Yes, yeah, they don't know how to word a freaking wish.
Yep,
but in the process of it, they got what they want.
His story, whether you believe it or not, is another.
We believe it or not.
But the story that he quoted was that back several generations they had a disorder, a disease, and that the only way he could cure it was by using this technique to alter their bodies, and in the process of altering their bodies, he let them choose what form that would take.
But they're still like I get that they're still mutated beyond recognition as being human. You know, they're in between human and not human,
And the
it
current
just
ones are descendants of those originals. They are not the ones that he actually altered. They are now genetically inclined to that condition.
And they're inbred, so they're stupid.
yeah.
Yeah. So, regardless, I'm not seeing any genuine malice other than
Like we're not saying that he's full of malice and he's a terrible person.
that we're
Imagine
just gonna kill him because we wanna.
well no, here's
Because
the
the
thing.
XP.
No, God, you just let me finish. Jesus.
Murder
He's
Joe,
hobos.
he's insanely powerful. You know, near cosmic godlike powers, but is so naive that everything he's doing is basically backfiring, and it's doing more harm than good. Like, he's using Lathander? He's with Lathander, I think?
Yes.
He's using Lathander's name to sew up a corpse bride for Strahd to look like his beloved and marry her off? That doesn't sound like a rational celestial being. That sounds like somebody who's far gone on his own.
That sounds like a mad scientist.
Like, here's the thing, right? And if we defeat Strahd, because he is so thinking that Strahd is the answer, we stop Strahd, right? Like, let's say we do this. We stop Strahd. He saw Strahd as the answer. What do you think he's going to do next?
See that we have replaced Strahd as the powers that be at the land?
No.
That we are going to
No.
bring a new form
No.
of peace.
You're
Okay,
assuming he's rational.
Best case scenario. Worst case scenario,
I'm assuming
he's
he
gonna
follows his own rational. Or, I'm assuming he follows his own sense of logic.
but his own sense of logic is twisted. It's
The
not
best
correct.
that we can hope for is that we kill Strahd. By the way, we are saying his name a lot right now. Just want
No,
to...
we're OOC at this point.
I was going to say,
I think we're getting this
Oh,
OOC league.
okay.
yeah.
I've been handling this out of character. When we say
Yeah,
something.
no,
This
we're-
is really something that we could discuss this in character if you wanted. The words
Okay.
really wouldn't have changed, but this lets us make a tiny bit.
The best that we can hope for then is we kill Strahd, the evil in this land disappears, and at some point his divine nature will cleanse itself. At some point.
That's a big risk
That's
if.
the best that we can hope for.
And that's
So-
a huge if.
Frankly, I don't want to fight the abbot if we don't absolutely have to.
And I
was
will
gonna
say
say so.
We have
that
to.
if in
Yeah.
character you mention killing Strahd, I will step in if you were saying it inside this cave. So, but as long
Yeah,
as you're discussing, if you're
No, this is
discussing
OOC.
the abbot around the campfire, that's no problem.
So
Yeah,
are
no,
we are we officially like taking a long rest or?
Yes.
Yeah, we're taking a
I'm
long rest.
assuming-
We're
Oh,
trying to-
thank
From what
God.
you said- From what you said, you had agreed to her conditions that you will do your best to attempt to release Emil. And under those conditions, she basically fades out to another section of the cave, leaves the children with you, except for Kellen, who went with the other woman, and she goes off to her own campfire somewhere.
Oh, okay.
What was her name?
Zulika.
Zulika. It was Zulika Tulenescu?
Toranescu.
Toranescu.
I'll type it in the game chat here so you can actually see it, because it's quite a complicated name.
Zulika works.
But you can assume that you were looking for someone named Emil Toranescu.
So, anyway, to go back to the actual thing, the abbot. What I want to actually discuss though is why on earth would we be actively acting against him. Like, I
It's-
won't deny that there's a possibility of him being a genuine threat, but why are we actively trying to harm him?
We
What
need
I'm
we need
going
to
to
prepare
do-
for the inevitability that after we defeat Strahd or while we're fighting Strahd, he will come either to Strahd's defense or come to avenge Strahd because he is convinced that Strahd is the only solution for this land.
I'm going to
Worse.
have
He-
you
he is-
table. Are you doing this in character at this point?
If you'd like us to shift back into an in-character
I'm doing it in
discussion.
character.
I was about to
Because
answer as well.
I'm
Yep.
going to table the discussion about what to do with the abbot in favor of you deciding what you're going to do with the children. Because moving
Yeah.
forward, we need to know where you're going, since you have several places that are on high priority for where you need to go, including those things that have to do with the
Could we see like the
prophecy.
world? Could we see like the world map?
Certainly.
Just for a remap.
That's on
Okay,
our.
while you're seeing the world map real quick, I'd like to, if I'm disengaged from the kids for the time being, because I know I'm like being clung to like a tree.
Okay, so we're by
Um,
Lake Baratok or whatever it is. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, you're where the party token is.
Yeah, I mean, we're not far away from Kresk. I still say
Yeah, we're, like,
the best option
halfway.
is. I still say the best option is let the people of Kresk adopt these kids, and we take all of them to Vallaki.
If they're willing to come with us. But yeah, I kind of agree. We should go to Kresk, give them the give them the kids, or if nothing else, like because they're pretty communal anyway, so they'll a kid in the commune is just a kid in the commune.
And as Sylvia kind of feels the kids out, it looks like only the two littlest ones really look like they'd rather leave the werewolf cave. The others seem torn, and the known is better than the unknown kind of thing. They're hesitant. They would have to be convinced to leave. They might go. The older ones seem pretty well set, like they are more comfortable here. The middle range of age,
I'm gonna say
wavering, and the
While
littlest ones
I'm-
might go.
while I'm in the shrine, while we were in the shrine, can I retroactively do that?
Do
No.
what?
Divine
Divine
sense.
Oh,
Let you see hallowed.
Yeah,
with the-
Paladin ping.
all right. Go ahead. Well, you can do it now. I mean, the whole basically.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Speaking
of.
of
Yeah,
paladin,
yeah,
I want to talk.
He's gonna do a paladin ping because he's just trying to figure out because he knows nothing about this Night Mother. Like, presumably she's not a nice deity, but he's basically trying to figure out where, because the pantheon here clearly is not like
It's not Bahamut or Tiamat. She's somewhere in the realm of Raven Queen.
yeah, but is there?
Like, what is
Basically, he's trying to figure out, would it be within his oath to try to just crush these people under heel, or he's trying to like
Ah, damn your
pause it
oaths.
out, like
I forgot about your oaths.
because he's been kind of going with it so far because they were under parlay, but once parlay is lifted, would they technically be classified as like an evil cult, or do they seem like they could be integrated into society? And he would actually start, if he was able to converse with them, he would be like trying to feel out whether how interested they would be in reintegrating with the larger Ravenloft society, Barovian
Okay, so have
society.
you cast this?
Yeah, this was just a divine sense thing.
I
Yeah.
know. So I'm saying you.
Yeah, he did.
This is a definite. You have actually done it.
Yes.
You can. It says like a noxious odor. There is a definite noxious odor in this cave, but it is not undead, fiends, celestials, anything like that. It is just a definite feeling of very tense, very dangerous, impending evil that could break loose if it chose to.
Okay.
The children, however, are pretty much absent of that feeling. You don't feel any of that sense around them.
Even the ones that are deciding to stay, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to put that in there, Apotus.
I need to reread my oath.
I think you said it is specifically undead.
It is.
And to make Barovia safe to operate for the Dawnwatch.
No, okay.
Oh.
Well, while our evil
My-
paladin, while our
it's,
not evil paladin is going through his oaths, Vlad will do the werewolves.
The specific line that I added here was, "Victory must be so overwhelming that the necromancers and profane beasts' will to fight is shattered forever."
God damn it!
You know, actually, you know what?
Now I have a
If
reason.
they're-
But are they profane?
If they're willing to if they're willing to
Live and let
throw it,
live.
if they're willing to throw in behind him, there's my out.
Well, here's the thing. They are not willing to stand behind Strahd anymore. That was the
They're
other
not
one.
willing to stand behind Strahd, but they're not willing to stand behind us. They are trying to remain like Switzerland.
Yeah, they're trying to be neutral.
That's correct. Yeah.
Well, but they're not interested in fighting, right?
They're not interested in fighting, and they're not interested in fighting for Strahd. They're not going to help us against him, but they're not going to help him against us.
Yeah, they're
Trying
just
They
Just
are,
trying to figure out what works best for us.
if left alone, they are most likely, it looks like, not going to be a threat to you.
I think in the interest of intelligence, Epotus is going to kind of table this for right now. Like maybe showing up with like a newly reconstituted Dawnwatch in like a year's time is probably the better time to have that
God.
conversation.
Here, let me help you with this.
That's what I was meant.
Here, let me help you with this. They are monsters that do not conform to your ways.
Yeah, I know, but basically he's like, okay, what's
Christianity.
Yeah,
he's like, what's the bigger like it's definitely a
they're
kneel or be crushed kind of situation, but at the moment he doesn't really have the support of his army right now.
they are beasts that did work with the evil of this land.
But not by their choice. To be
Please
fair.
please give Derek a reason to fight you.
It was
Are we doing this
probably-
now?
I mean, we've taken a long rest.
Oh god, are we doing this now?
no.
It was
Yeah.
probably,
I'm kidding.
Party. It was probably
Yes.
by their choice, but there are levels of choice. They had
Oh,
no
no.
other alternative to turn to, you can see. Because where else do they go? Now,
You know, Epotus.
I'm kidding, Apotus.
Well, Epotus's mindset is he's because so what he's gotten is they're interested mainly in keeping to themselves so long as they're not like outright attacked, and basically before we leave, he wants to get some sort of like agreement where I will do everything I can to get a meal for you, provided that you no longer attack the people of Barovia. You only take like the willing.
But that's the thing. She has already said that she's only wanting to take the willing. So I mean, like that's already been
So
said.
it's already. But he wants to hear her say it, like
Just one more time.
that she's like that's what the plan is, and that
Okay.
Emil is the type of person who'd be down for that. Because if Emil's not down for that, he's getting iced, and they're all getting iced.
Yeah, no, I understand. You got to do you.
I rolled a paladin. Sorry. On the one hand, you guys get my fear aura, and that keeps us all from dying and just trivializes the fights. But on the other hand, I got to do this sort of shit.
I kind of wanted it.
Anyways, since making this quick, while everyone's discussing the town discussion thing, shit, I lost my train of thought. Like I had a
I
good
have
thought, and then
mine.
like all this stuff had.
I have mine. Can I go?
Yeah, do yours first, and
Alright,
if I
so
remember,
we'll-
I'll get back to it.
While Apotus was having a
Crisis of
Crisis of
Uh,
faith.
existential crisis about his oaths, Vlad had walked over to the werewolf campfire and wanted to ask a few questions about the cave, just out of curiosity. Excuse
Okay.
me. I'm very curious about this cave. It is quite obviously not a natural piece. You and your clan did not build this, did you? Or pack, however you refer to it.
Uh, the old man looks up and he says, actually, for the most part, it was quite natural. It is a limestone cave. He motions to the stalactites and the stalagmites and says, you can see that this was all natural formation. Yes, we have hollowed out a little here and there to make the steps and to make areas that are more comfortable for us, but the cave network was pretty much here. There were caves above us as well. The pack leader would live up there, and the tunnel to the back goes up to the upper caves. There is no one there, of course, and the fight ring is there as well that Kirill forced the children to use. But outside of increasing the size of the tunnel and making it easier to access, and the same with the caves, it is pretty much as we found it. This was many generations ago, of course.
Okay, so this cave is
Like,
not like linear pathways and such. This is like something they carved out of tunnels that were already there.
Let me briefly give you a peek at the battle map, which I haven't used. I preferred to use the picture of the cave, and I will let you see what the thing looks like. Let me turn off the
Why is
fog of war.
so okay, so quick question, Flood. Who are you talking to?
I am talking to apparently the old man, and I was talking
Okay.
to Zolrika. No, I have so much trouble with her name.
Zulika.
Zolika. I was so close.
Okay, I finally remembered what I wanted to say, but I'll wait till you're done and then bring it up.
And
Think you
Rockland
guys are
is
gonna like it.
running really slow here, but eventually I'll get it. Here's, you can see on the southern half of the map as I'm opening it up. Let's see, can you guys see it? You don't have tokens.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is the water area that they described. Come on. And then they took you back through this area with all of the columns of limestone and took you into
Hmm.
this area here.
Okay, so this part is the mouth of the cave.
Yeah, the far southern thing with those, what looks like the lower jaw of a wolf, is the entrance to the cave.
Okay, and then the entrance to the wolf leaders thing is over here.
No, it's here. Come on.
Okay. Oh, I see it now. Okay. So Vlad would say, okay, so this is not at all what I was imagining it. It's close to what I was imagining it, but I was imagining more like this was all built a long time ago and they just moved in type thing.
No, they've been here. Yeah, this cave has
Ancestral
been here for,
home.
but it's basically a natural limestone cave.
Okay. You said that the wolf leader and the fight pit is up cave, upstairs, up cave, above us.
Above us, yes.
Would you mind if I went up and looked around?
I will take you there, yes. I will not let you go on your own.
That is amenable.
And
I'm perfectly okay with that.
very good. So he takes you up back through the cave to that corridor, and you climb 4 flights of stairs. You go up, you feel like the stairs are fairly long. You've probably gone up a good 80 to 100 feet above, and you come out on a ledge. There is a cave hollowed back into the mountains, but there is a ledge that overlooks the valley, and you can see the lake, you can see the tower, you can see the forest spread out below you. You have a very good vantage point of everything in this region, including if you kind of stand on the edge of the ledge, you can see to Kresk as well. So you get a very good view of everything from, say, the western edge of Lake Zarovich to Kresk, and much of the mountains and things can be seen. There is snow that is piled around the entrance to this area, and there is a dead campfire back in this alcove that is protected. There's a little bit of hanging cloth up to protect against the cold, but you can see like a nest that a large wolf might have curled up in, and the remains of campfire. Out on the ledge itself and above a steep slope, but not unclimbable steep, you see a large ring that is about 20 feet in diameter, with stones piled around fairly high, and one opening towards the area where the campfire was. That is away from the ledge itself. It's back towards the rear of the cave where you came in. And you can see remnants of bones in this ring.
I will flip down the eye patch.
You do not
Do I
see you do not see any undead.
Okay, I will flip the eye patch back up. Say, this vantage point, it is both beautiful and strategic. I can see why your leaders made this their domain.
It is well protected. It keeps us away from the villages, so the villagers do not attack us easily and cannot thin our numbers any more than they do when we wander the woods. Needless to say, they attack us on sight.
I can't imagine it to be otherwise. Werewolves tend to have a stigma about them.
It is
Cough.
not undeserved, but we try to stay to our own as much as we can.
And you have my thanks for that. I will cast Detect Magic. So let me mark that off. And
there is the only magic you detect is like a residue aura on the ring. That is, what school would it be? It would be like a lock spell.
so like once they go in, they can't get back out?
Exactly.
Okay.
Not until the conditions are met or something like that, sounds like.
Okay.
Is the old man still there?
I think the old man is who showed me up.
Yeah, the old man
What's
took
his
him up
name?
to the leader's cave above Skenis.
Okay, I would take the time to talk to. Cause I know we're cutting close on the twilight hour. Take the time to talk to Zalika, letting her know how many of the kids want to stay, and letting her know which ones want to go. Giving the kids a chance to say thank you for taking care of us, type deal. You know, reminding us it's polite. They did actually try to take care of you, kind of deal.
I will say that after you had the prancing wolves and this kind of things, the frolicking wolves in your light show, that the two middle ones that were considering which way they wanted to go, they decide they want to stay. But the two littlest ones, who turn out to be sisters, one is 8 and one is 6, they want to leave with you.
Yeah.
So
I
basically,
mean,
you have 4 boys and 2 girls that wish to stay.
Yeah. So I would just let her know which ones wanted to stay, and the ones that wanted to leave, I'd make sure that they, politeness, say thank you for taking care of us, because, blah, blah, blah. And then after, I'd probably usher them over to Duroc and be like, go play with the Jolly Green Giant.
Ho, ho, ho.
probably would, yeah, pretty much, would ask Zalika, your pack has been here for a long time. How old are you guys?
Oh, we are normal age. We die like unaffected humans. We perhaps live a little bit longer, but our lifestyle is such that we take damage from our attacks and the things that we do. So even then, our perhaps slightly longer lifestyle does not always grant us long lives, but we are not much more aged than you are. I am only 45.
Okay. Do you know what happened in Kresk? Do you know
Regarding
why?
what?
Do you know why somehow children continue to keep dying there? Like, do you know any stories about that? Rumors?
She she kind of lowers her eyelids and she says, "There are two things. I suspect that Kirill may have bitten some of the children, but I also think that there is an evil beyond anything that we have had a hand in that lives there in Kresk. I think a disease seems to appear from time to time in that village, and it is turned to the advantage of some who have been there a long time."
What do you mean by that?
I know exactly what she means.
The myth that I heard when I was a child was that there were people who became ill, and the only way to cure them was to grant them deformities that would allow them to live, but would also not allow them to return to their homes.
So that disease is basically affecting everyone in that village, possibly.
The young seem to be affected first.
Okay.
In that case,
That
perhaps
actually,
taking them to Kresk is not the best idea.
hey, we at least got that resolved, but that also means that those people are technically in danger. The longer they stay there, the more susceptible they to this thing they can become.
Perhaps there's some place in Valaki that we can have carved out for them.
To have them,
They can
like,
maintain their
watched
community.
over.
Yeah, they can maintain their community, but just within Valaki or near Valaki.
Not even just that, like OOC wise, have them looked at, have them treated, and then
The
we
abbot,
find out
not the
that.
abbot, the
Oh no, yeah, I'm talking about the
Father
people.
Petrovich. Father
Yeah.
No, Father Petrovich
Oh,
is
our
the
friend.
bone.
Our friendly priest.
Yeah, the guy that we like.
Yeah.
But yeah, have them quarantined essentially, and when they're deemed that there's no need for a quarantine anymore, then they can be let out into the public again.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, we also have our figurehead when we're not around.
Well, I mean, that does technically resolve the issue of which way are we taking these kids.
All right, now I will ask you a question as we call it for tonight.
Yes.
Are you going to go to Valaki to drop them off? Are you going to leave them at the Mage Tower? Are you going to take them along with you when you go other places?
Sorry.
It's pretty equidistant between from the tower to Kresk or Valaki, so I'm thinking we just keep them with us and like keep them in a cart or something.
Well,
Yeah.
They can ride on Victor's
Well, we-
big
You got the
wooden crate.
Well, here's what we can do. We could put them on Epotus's horse, and the horse will get instructions to, if shit goes tits up, to take them to Valaki.
Actually,
Well, I was gonna say, good do the same with Darok. Darok loves to be play with kids, whether they have that same thing or not. Because he's a monster.
it'd be fun to have
But,
some
yeah,
tag alongs for a
if-
while.
no.
Right.
He wants to stay and fight, but if he's around kids, he's going to make sure those kids stay safe first and then fight later.
All right. Tomorrow morning, as you wake up from having your long rest, where are you headed?
Well, we gotta go get our stuff back from the Mage Tower first off.
Yeah, so to the Mage Tower, then to Kresk, and then to Vallaki, I guess.
I was gonna say,
are we actually stopping in Kresk? Because I don't want to put the kids anywhere near Kresk.
No, I'd say the plan is go to Kresk, but have like a couple of us stay out with the kids while the others go to the Burgomeister and say, "Hey, it's not safe for you guys here."
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Get you out.
Yeah, no, I wasn't saying bring the kids in. No, I was saying
yeah.
We just have them accompany us to like the crossroads part there. Then some subset go talk to them, and then we pull them to Vallaki. Or those who are willing to go to Vallaki.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, we have a plan of attack.
And then the second we were done, we were going to the next location we said we were going to go because.
Freaking kids.
The best plans go awry not only for DMs but sometimes for players.
Yeah, well, it is going to go awry because the moment we get out of there, kids are not. I'm kidding. No, Derek's not going to do that in front of kids.
Wow.
I will say before we end, Vlad will ask one more question of the old man and say, as a cleric, I have some power to remove curses. Are there any of your pack who wish to return to how they once were?
That is not as simple a matter as you believe it is. I know that there are some who have been recently bitten that may be susceptible to it, and that would be the younger children. But most of us have been in this lifestyle for a long time. As you see, there are only a few young here among us. We have been this way most of our lives.
I felt it was my responsibility to ask if I could have helped.
Thank you for your offer, but I, for one, will remain where I am. This is my family. This is my pack.
Very well. And that's all.
Yep.
Okie doke.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much. Since it looks like most of the viewers will be on YouTube, we will say good night to you on YouTube. Join us next week if you can. And live for our live stream next week, we will watch as they go onward. And the evening's Uneasy Truce, as the title said, is now winding down as they will wake up the next morning and the truce flag will basically be lowered. So we will find out where they go and what happens as they take the two children out. The remaining children will remain here at the Werewolf Cave, and the other group has disappeared off, presumably to Castle Ravenloft. And with that, we'll say good night from Crone's Crucible. Hope to see you next week. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Little did we know the true Uneasy Truce was a Duroc and you photos.
No.
There's an Uneasy Truce now.
Yeah, no, seriously, the werewolves were easy.